Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me here today as we get to talk about one of my favorite subjects, comic books. My name is Jose. I love comic books. I love talking about them. I love sharing them with you. Feel free to follow me on social media if you would like. Links are in the description below. I've also posted a link to the Marvel fan site that'll have plot synopsis and character bios for this issue. Marvel Superhero Secret Wars number 8 from 1984. This is... It's not the true first appearance of the black costume because this issue was released a few months after Amazing Spider-Man. Oh my God, Amazing Spider-Man 252. Amazing Spider-Man 252. So, but this issue, regardless, is pretty expensive to get. I do have this entire run. So I actually have the beat up copy that I had as a kid, but well before COVID, so before 2020, on eBay, I bought the entire 12 issues for $80. You can't probably get that now, but I did before COVID. So I'm proud to say I own a very nice copy of this issue. So, same creative team, Jim Shooter, Mike Zeck, and then there's a bunch of inkers here, but John Beaty is the primary inker. So, I do have a playlist. I've covered every issue starting with number 1. So, our title is Invasion. And so Captain Marvel, and Monica Rambeau was Captain Marvel during this time. She goes, hurry, she's in trouble. I know it. And Spider-Man, riding on top of the Hulk, says, hey, She-Hulk's tough. She's got him outnumbered, if you ask me. And then pauses, I hope. You can see Iron Man carrying the Thing, Mr. Fantastic, Spider-Woman, which was introduced last issue, Captain America, and then Hawkeye, and then the Human Torch goes here as Thor goes without a cape. And so he lost his cape maybe 4 issues ago. So, all right. And so they're going to the villains' headquarters, and one of them yells, there, probably Captain America. And so Reed Richards says, I can't believe Doom hasn't detected our approach. Why didn't he send out a sortie to intercept us? And the Thing, I wasn't sure if it was Iron Man here, but the Thing says, maybe I'll ask him that while I'm twisting his tin nose off, Stretcho. Come on, Thor. Shout something corny and poke a hole in that overgrown Quonset hut. So, and then Thor says, nay, I have no vainglorious oath to utter, Thing, only a prayer that we have but one to avenge. And you can see he tears down through that building here. Meanwhile, the Enchantress is out here having a drink. You can tell she's a little bit drunk. And so she hears that, but wants another drink and realizes that there's no one there to give her a drink. So she doesn't think the war is going very well for the villains here, and realizes that for Thor, it's a chance to, for glory. And so we get a little bit of a recap here. He says that Thor believed that for her, it was a chance to redeem himself, but of course, she did not. Villainous as ever. She can't believe he almost kissed her, and he would have been hers because of the sorcery. But so she gets up, but like I said, she's a bit drunk, and she goes, "Behold the mighty enchantress." So, all right. Meanwhile, Volcana is with the Molecule Man. She's been looking after him. He was wounded in a battle with the X-Men. And she says that she'll stay with him to protect him, make sure no one hurts him. But anybody that gets there is going to get killed, especially Wolverine. So we got the lizard and Claw. The lizard asks, what sort of creature are you? But Claw is like insane here at this moment. So meanwhile, here the villains are beating up on poor She-Hulk here. And the absorbing man goes, they must be busting in here, coming for us. And the Wrecker says, great, just great, we ain't ready. And Titania says, so what's to get ready? They show their face, we bash them, let's go. And so off they go here. And Pile Driver says, come on, Ock, if we hurry, I reckon we can lay an ambush for them. And Dr. Octopus, certainly Pile Driver, but first, the coup de grace. And so you can see he grabs She-Hulk and slams her against that. There, now there's one less to concern us. So, very villainous indeed. And so Ultron is watching over Doctor Doom. Ultron's been reprogrammed by Doom and works only for Doom here. And he was in Galactus's ship and received too much energy here. So here come the heroes here busting in. Captain Marvel is going to search for She-Hulk. And Human Torch says, well, you do that, we'll flush out the bad guys. But as that happens, you can see here the Wrecker comes out and hits Iron Man here with his, what is that called? You know what? I have no idea what that instrument is called. I should look it up. It's a crowbar. I didn't even realize it was a crowbar. See? Google this quickly. So you can see Iron Man hits him with his repulsor ray to kind of grab him, or not grab him, to shoot him off. And so he thinks here, and he's like, good thing I was first. That armor would have cut somebody else in half. And the armor's too busted up, but not too bad. But he can feel it down in his ribs. So you can see the repulsors don't work too well on the or work very well. He screams here. And so Mr. Fantastic deducts that they're in an ambush here. And you can see Dr. Octopus busts out one of the water mains here, hitting the Human Torch here. And the Absorbing Man says, no prisoners, trash their butts. So Johnny comes down, but Mr. Fantastic catches him, and then here comes Bulldozer and goes, so now he'll be a bloody smear on the wall instead of the floor. And Spider-Man comes through and punches him. And you can see here the Absorbing Man is touching this metal thing, and of course whatever he touches he becomes, which makes you wonder why he's not always, since he's always holding this thing, why he doesn't become that thing all the time. So alright, and so the Absorbing Man tries to hit Spider-Man, who leaps out of the way here, and he says, pretty fast, Squirt, let's see you dodge this. So, and Absorbing Man thinks here, geez, he did it. I only ripped his suit up. It's like he knew it was coming or something. Don't matter. Next shot will get him. Of course, you can see his spider sense going here. So, all right. And so here comes the Thing here. And if you remember, he was able to turn back to Ben Grimm. So suddenly he turns here and he's like, oh no, not now here. And so the Absorbing Man is basically going to play with him. But here comes a Spider-Woman. And Absorbing Man asks, who is this? And she's like, none of your business, and throws him out. And he's very chauvinistic. Abroad, as soon as I peel myself out of this wall, lady. And then they throw this at him. By the way, he's human, so this should kill him. But of course, he just gets knocked out here. Cool pose for Wonder Woman here. So, and Pile Driver is coming toward Hawkeye. You can see him using one of the arrows, but he misses here. And so he makes fun of him for missing. And you can see he takes another one and shoots him in the shoulder. And he's like, I've been shot. Lordy, I'm wounded. So, all right. And Hulk comes through. And Enchantress is like, oh, come on in. And Hulk is like, now what do I do? Keep your distance, lady. And the Enchantress is like, but why? I'm but a helpless female, and you are the mighty Hulk. Are you not? Don't force me to hit you. I mean, I don't want to, says the Hulk. And the Enchantress is like, look at me, magnificent one. Am I not once every woman you have ever desired? And Hulk is like, I. Stare into my eyes, love. Love me. And the Hulk collapses, and then she pours herself a drink. Mortal cretin. And so Captain America, and she goes, perhaps you would like some mead. And he asks, what have you done to the Hulk? And Enchantress says, for the moment he is merely asleep, doubtless dreaming dreams of me, but alas, he can never truly have me, for I am yours, my handsome captain. Am I not beautiful? Come to me. So she is going to try to enchant Captain America, and he's like, give it up, Enchantress. And she's like, your will is strong. Very well, we shall do this the hard way. And he leaps out of the way, and she's like, curse you, hold still. And she says, Surtur's teeth, you move as quickly as the cats of Scornheim. So you can see Captain America finally lands in front of her, and he's like, no, you would not strike me. And Captain America says, not if there were any other choice, but he busts her with his shield here. But I know what you can do given just a second to act. But now, who do we have here? Oh, it's the Human Torch here. So he's like, what happened? And he's like, no time to explain, Torch. I'm going to try to locate Doom. And Human Torch says, I'll come with you. I'm starting to get my flame back. And so you can see Titania moving this heavy piece. And Spider-Man hits her from behind, startling her. And he goes, do you surrender? And she's like, to a scrawny little runt like you, you're talking to Titania, Bugman. And he's like, and here I thought you were just a common ruffian. So then, of course, making fun of her because she misses. And she goes, I don't have to hit you, as she hits the floor, causing the rubble here. And of course she goes, I used to be a shrimp. I used to be the scrawny one who got her face rubbed in the dirt. Now I'm powerful, and it's my turn. And Spider-Man's like, you got some hostility built up, huh? And look at this as she picks up that big thing here. Everybody better look out for me now. I'll crush anybody who gets in my way, especially miserable little wimps like you. So she's about to squash Spider-Man here. And Hawkeye here is running and realizes that Ben has turned human again. And Hawkeye says, the battle seems to have left us behind. Did you see which way everybody went? And Ben is like, I don't know. It's a big place. This way, I think, as he points that way here. And so they see Claw here, but now behind them is the Lizard. And Ben goes, any ideas, Hawk? And he goes, well, I guess we'll have to outwit them. And Ben is like, us? So now we're back in the infirmary here, and Volcana changes to her powered self. And she says, I can hear them coming, darling. I better get ready to fight. The first one who shows his face through that door gets crispy fried. And Molecule Man is like, Marsha, And she's like, oh baby, it's so good to hear your voice again. But just rest now, love. Mama will protect you. Oh my God. And he goes, no, I want to help you. You and me, Marsha darling, we'll annihilate them together, he says. And so here come the heroes when suddenly, whoosh, as you can see, that and Iron Man had asked any sign of the enemy, and then he goes, forget I asked. And so, um, Reed Richards says, it's the Molecule Man and the one who calls herself Volcana. Stay back. I'll roust their butts out of there. And Richard says, Iron Man, wait, don't. By the way, Iron Man during this time was James Rhodes, not Tony Stark. So he has been Iron Man the entire time. They have not shown his face. So it was a secret during this time. He did not let anybody know. So anyway, Reed Richards continues and goes, that plasma generated heat she's throwing is too much, even for your armor. And Owen Wilson is like, don't worry, Marsha. He can't get at us. I've fused some air molecules into an ultra hard shield around us. And she's like, that's nice, dear, but he's had it anyway. His little tin suit is smoldering. Of course, Iron Man thinks here. Cooling systems down, overtaxed. Lots of circuits fused, burned out. And then Volcana is like, my next blast will vaporize him. Make him a gun port. Make me a gun port, OE. And so you can see Richards gets him out of the way. And he's like, my armor's red hot. Your hands. You can see that as Thor throws his hammer. And she's upset because she missed here. And Molecule Man says, it's all right, darling. We can pick them off at our leisure. We're quite safe here. Nothing can get through my little invisible shield. Of course, Captain Marvel can, because Captain Marvel is made out of light, and light can travel through here. And so you can see she grabs the Molecule Man, and she surrenders because she's hurting him. So, look at her. Look what you've done. He fainted. Oh, my poor, poor baby. Stop it. You're hurting him. I surrender, please. And Captain Marvel's like, he's wounded. Gee, I'm sorry. And so you can see Thor is about to get Volcana here. But back to that thing here with Titania here. Those are some long arms, long skinny arms here. She drops that, but Spider-Man moved out of the way here. So she wants to smash him, and Spider-Man is doing what Spider-Man does, drive them crazy by cracking jokes the entire time here. And so just frustrating the heck out of her here, and keeps hitting her, and she's like, it's not fair. And Spider-Man's like, but if we were fighting in a broom closet, that'd be fair, right? And she's like, stop, 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 as he just kind of has his way with her. And he's like, you ought to be happy, Cuddles. You aspire to be a bully, and man, you are a classic. So you talk tough and nasty when you got the upper hand, and he tosses her out. But when you're losing, well, that's when the whining little wimpette inside you comes out. And he hits her so hard she goes through the wall here and crashes down. It's like, not fair. Ugh, as she collapses here. And Pile Driver is down here. And Captain America says, Torch, look out here. And so there was a blast coming through. And it is Ultron. And so Captain America deduces here that Doom must be nearby because Ultron is his personal guard. And the Human Torch is like, he's going to be Doomsy's personal slag pile in a minute. And Cap is like, Torch, no, don't get too close to him. And he's like, hey, he isn't melting. And so Of course, he's made out of adamantium here, so he grabs the torch here, and Captain America yells at Torch and says, "Use your Nova Flame." He's like, "You're too close. It'll kill you too." He says, "Do it. Don't hold back. Give it everything, son." And he's like, "Okay." And so Captain America uses his shield to protect himself, which is no, that's not how it works, but that's all right. It's comic books. So the shield protected Captain America's entire body, even though other parts of his would be exposed, and you can see that here. And the torch has melted this whole room, and the Human Torch says, "Okay, couldn't melt his adamantium hide, but I guess something non-adamantium inside must have overheated. I'm tired." And Cap says, "Well done. Go rest." And so here comes Captain America, and he sees battered Doctor Doom. And Captain America goes, "Looks like it's come down to you and me, Doom, which is how it ought to be." And he says, "Doom," and he's like, whatever's happened to him, he's barely alive, and it seems completely out of it. He's harmless. And so inside, you can see the Thing is playing patty cake here. So they did outwit them, I guess. And so Captain Marvel has found the She-Hulk here, and she's like, "Jennifer, oh my lord, what have they done to you?" So here we've got a couple of the villains in a stasis, and you can see here that Mr. Fantastic has a sling on, and he says, "How is Doom?" I'm sorry, asked Captain America. And he goes, "There isn't much I could do for him. What's left of his armor prevents any of these cell regenerative devices from working on him. And removing it could take weeks. It's certainly booby-trapped. For now, Thor's taking him to a cell." And Mr. Fantastic continues, "You know, he died back on Earth sometime before we were brought here. I don't know how he could be here and alive in the first place. After all we've seen, though, nothing surprises me anymore." So so if you've ever read John Byrne's Fantastic Four, which is absolutely fantastic, no pun intended. I have not covered any of the issues at this time, maybe in the future. But there are plenty of videos out there covering his run, so check them out. But all that is explained with Doctor Doom in the issues of Fantastic Four here. So Captain America goes, "I'm amazed that the She-Hulk survived that beating." And Mr. Fantastic says, "Not by much. Even this technology couldn't have saved her if we've gotten to her a few seconds later. I wish I had time to analyze one of these and learn its secrets. For now, though, I'm content to just to know how to use it to save the She-Hulk's life." And Cap is like, "Thank God, losing one Avenger is already too much to bear." And so Captain America says, "You know, Reed, I can't help but think that if I'd done things differently, maybe the Wasp wouldn't have died." And Reed says, "Don't torture yourself, Cap. What could have happened did, and no one could have led us better or more wisely than you." So, all right, so we got here now in the cells. And Hawkeye says, "I wish we could have locked up the Lizard and Claw up together. They become such good friends." And Hulk says, "Being insane doesn't mean that they aren't still dangerous." And Thor says, "Doom is safely locked away." And Captain Marvel says, "They're all secured. The restraints here are a little nasty, but strong." And the Hulk is like, "If the Enchantress suffers a little, that suits me just fine." And then he's like, "I'm just mad at myself." And Thor's like, "Don't beat you up. Happens to the best of us." So, all right. And so they are going to go out and bring the Wasp body and give her a proper burial with honor worthy of an Avenger. So, Meanwhile, if you remember, Zaji had collapsed, and Colossus is running with her and puts her in there so that she can uh, try to heal herself. She has overextended, and he's like, um, kind of trying to remember what she had done, and so he tries to do that at well and thinks maybe it's working, but instead sees all these images, and suddenly he realizes the truth. So I'm just gonna the wasp was not dead, merely wounded, but also in some kind of death-like stasis. And when that stasis wore off, you healed her wounds and saved her life, nearly at the cost of your own, all for a stranger from another world. On all the worlds and all the creations, there can be another like you. I think not. Sleep, my beautiful beloved Zaji. So, it I deduce that it is a part of her power, and people fall in love with her when she heals them. And this led to the breakup between Colossus and Kitty Pryde. So, all right, and so now we see Captain Marvel and Hawkeye, and they're like, "What the?" Of course, the Wasp is alive here, and she kind of explains that Zaji healed her, and then she's like, "Oh my God, my hair and I'm without hair and makeup," and so they smile because they know what that she's back to normal. So, all right, now we check in on the X-Men. Magneto thinks that perhaps it's a bluff. Galactus is not going to eat the planet, but Xavier's not sure. And Xavier's like, well, we promised Captain America that we would watch, and suddenly um, Cyclops points and goes, look, there. And so we're not seeing what he's seeing, but now we are going back here, and you can see Reed Richards is working on Iron Man here. And Iron Man says, think you can patch this tin suit up, Richards? And he goes, Iron Man, with the advanced alien technology at my disposal here, I can easily make it far better than it was. So I'm still impressed with the incredible sophistication of this armor. And then, of course, he makes a point here. I'm curious, were you surprised that there was a black man under the metal? And he says, no, I never gave it a thought. I knew there was a man under there. So, um, have you noticed the changes in the inks while we've been at it? So, you can see that perhaps this issue was done in a bit of a rush here. So, all right. And so, everybody is getting their uniforms fixed, and you can see Spider-Man's got his tethered, and they're like, yeah, there's this thing on there. You can get all the clothing you want. So he goes in here, and most likely uses because he's like, which one? And he goes, oh, it must be this one. And he concentrates, and suddenly this thing goes in there, and he touches it, and he's like, hey, it's going up my arms. What is this stuff? Well, I'll be an 8 balls uncle. That glob just spread out and became a costume that dissolved away the tatters of my old one in the process. Not bad. Different, but not bad. I wonder why it didn't come out like my old one. That's what I was thinking of. And so, as I mentioned, this is technically not the first appearance of the suit, but this issue is still expensive. So and so now there's like a shake, and Xavier appears telepathically and says, Captain America, come at once. It has begun. Galactus is devouring the planet. We are now 2/3 of the way through with a final third. So, Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars number 8, Jim Shooter with Mike Zeck as the penciler. The quote unquote first appearance of the black costume. So, like and subscribe. I do thank you for listening. Goodbye.